everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I have the Potensic Atom drone with me today. See if I can get that right. Let's hold it this way. The Potensic Atom. So when I originally flew this drone, there was an issue with the horizon. In other words, a tilted horizon. And what I noticed it was in the drone flying in normal mode and in high-speed mode. They have another mode called video mode, which is their slow speed, that I didn't see that tilt. It seemed to hold the horizon quite well. But recently they came out with a firmware update, and in Potensic fashion, there's a number of different firmware packages. So instead of just giving you a string of numbers, I will put that on the screen right now. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you is what Potensic advertised as the new firmware numbers are different than what I've seen on my drone. So I will put that up there right now as well too. But I did get the update. So the main flight control update is the same. It's just some of those other numbers, the camera number and some of the other ones are different. So just wanted to point that out. So I've got another thing to tell you about. I typically use the DJI wireless mic system. The receiver that hooks into the camera interferes with the control system for this drone, and you can't get out very far at all, and you lose FPV and you really lose control of the drone. So found that out the hard way, originally with the Atom SE and then now with the Atom. So I'm just going to use the transmitter. I found that I can use just the transmitter by itself without issue. So the transmitter, you can record directly to this device and it'll record audio. Well, why do I do that? Rather than you're just listening to audio right directly from my Action 2 camera right now. Well, the reason is you have wind, so I'll put a wind muff on this microphone, and that way if a wind comes up, well, we don't have those kind of audio issues. But anyway, that's not what you're here to find out about. You want to see how this guy flies. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okie dokie, I've got everything fired up and it looks like it's ready to go. We've got the Potensic Pro app, and let's enter device here. And it says connected there. We've got FPV looking good. It says takeoff is permitted. Let's go through the safety menu real quick. And yeah, it's set to return to home, 35-meter return to home altitude. We've got the altitude limit set at 117 meters. That's below legal. No limit on distance. And yeah, we can look at batteries at 99%. That's looking good. Okay, let's take a look at the camera menu real quick. And you can see I'm going to have everything in auto. Let's format that card just for the fun of it. When you format the card in the drone, you know that it's good. So looks like we're looking good there. The about screen, I want to show you the firmware. So there you can see the firmware that we're on. 3.1.4 on the flight control. That's the new version. I think my camera version might be a little bit different than what Potensic advertised. But anyway, minor things. Let's just see how this guy flies. Let's take a look at we want to look in the camera menu here real quick. You can see that we are shooting in 4K 30 frames per second. So I think we're pretty much good to go. I am going to start recording now. So we've started recording. Oh, I want to go to the attitude indicator on the screen here. I prefer the attitude indicator. We're going to do an automated takeoff on the app. Punching that button, confirming that the battery's in there, punching that button again, doing the slider. And there's the drone. Nice, smooth little takeoff, very smooth. Tells us the home point, and it took me back to the home page for some reason. Let's get back in and look at the drone. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. Let's go back to the attitude indicator. That was a weird anomaly. And you can see speed-wise up there at the top, we're in normal mode. We got 19 satellites. We got good signal. everything looks good. Let's bring the drone into the camera here. This guy has no obstacle avoidance, so you can bring the camera in, and it's a good steady drone, so you can bring it in close. You can see how that gimbal is keeping everything steady. So yeah, I'm gonna move it over here just a little, drop the camera down before we start, and let's do our droney. Reverse and up now, and nice and smooth. This guy has got really nice flight controls. Dropping that camera down just a little bit. Looking good. And look at that, horizon is perfect as it is now, and we're in normal mode. So let's start moving around here. If we start yawing around, that's when we'll see you know, potentially some issues with the horizon, but everything's looking good so far. So I got a little confession to make right now, and that's that I actually tested this drone. We're looking right into the sun here. That's a good test of this camera. I don't see a lot of lens flare or anything, so that's a good thing. And nice flat horizon. So anyway, I flew this drone the other day to do this same exact test, but it was on kind of a dull day, and it was one of those deals. Well, a couple of confessions. The first time I took off, I was using the wireless mic. I tend to forget, and wow, that camera moved up, so I'm tilting it down again. I tend to forget. I was using the wireless mic, and I was having all kinds of FPV issues and control issues, and then it dawned on me, oh yeah, I can't do that with this drone. So I took it off, landed, took off the mic, and then I started the flight again, which would have been good, except for then I neglected to start recording until about halfway through the flight. And I got to thinking about it, you know, it was a dull gray day. You guys would rather see a video on a nice sunny day like today. And by the way, today is the 16th of November, and it is just phenomenal. We're in the high 50s right now, very little wind, and as you can see, it's a blue sky day. It's just amazing to have these kind of fall days, and they're perfect days for flying. There again here as we yaw around, and I'm kind of banking and yawing at the same time as we turn around, and I see that we get a very little bit of tilt in the horizon. It is, as I pick the camera, let me pick the camera back up and get it right on, and you'll see it's slowly starting to level out, but just a really hint of a tilted horizon. Perfectly acceptable, particularly in this price range. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, let's throw it in high-speed mode here and see how it works. Clicking on those three dots, we're going into sport mode. And by the way, with any drone, you can expect some gimbal knock in sport mode. So you know, if the camera tilts down a little bit, it's perfectly understandable. But this is a test, so we want to see what it'll do. And the reason for that is, as the drone pitches forward, it has to drop the camera down so it doesn't look up at the nose of the drone. There's some exceptions to that, like the DJI Mini 4 and so forth have a little different camera setup. But it looks like this guy is pretty good, so let's do some turns here back and forth. And, you know, make sure that this guy is staying steady. And look at this. I mean, we're in sport mode here, and this guy is steady as a rock, coming right over the top of where I'm at here. And we're just going to head right over into the neighborhood here. And I'm going to show you I'm not going to call this a range test, but you know, this is a what I would say is probably a fairly difficult Wi-Fi environment, a lot of Wi-Fi in the area, and so it's a good test of the control on this drone. And look at that! And boy, I'm going to continue to zigzag here a little bit to see what that does to the horizon, and it's working good. I got a little bit of a, and boy, we were moving right along there. We were over 15 meters per second. I had a little bit of blockiness on FPV, but it cleared right up. I'm grabbing a little bit more altitude. Yeah, it's really starting to get a little blocky right now. So, you know, we are out there. How far are we out there? We're out there 730 meters. So I would say that is more than acceptable, particularly in the kind of a environment we're in right now. So yeah, let's go out this way. We can show you some other stuff here. I'm going to drop some altitude, and you know, I noticed when I turned there, the horizon got a little bit crooked, but it quickly straightened itself out. And yeah, I'm struggling a little bit on FPV here. I'm going to stop and let it catch up. Yeah, signal poor, it says. Yeah, okay. Yeah, now so I've lost FPV altogether as we were coming back there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and you can see I kind of, I did a, looks like to me, I'll see that on the, yeah, we're struggling here. Okay, I'm going to go full reverse. No, boy, I don't know. I don't know which way to go here, guys. Because as yeah, waiting for the FPV to catch up. Okay, I think I'm heading back towards us now. Yeah, I am. Okay, we'll get our signal back here. Yeah, that was we definitely had some issues there. So again, you know, this is an urban area, so you're going to have a lot of Wi-Fi interference. But let's bring it back over the park here, and kind of back over the top of where we're at. And by the way, I was, as you should, pointing the flat part of the antennas directly towards the drone there. And it's right about over the top of me now. We got good signal back. Let's, and it is, I'm saying this is interesting in sport mode. I'm coming to a stop here. I want to check that top speed again, because I didn't look down at the screen when we were moving along there. So I want to see just how fast this guy will go. Yeah, look at that. We're over 16 meters per second. I knew it was moving pretty quick. Okay, let's get out over this this sculpture over here. Whoa, boy, yeah, I'm in sport mode there, so it makes that, oh man, it's hard to control that yaw. So, and there is no way to adjust the yaw in this. I've tried. So I'm going to put it in normal mode, or excuse me, video mode. Let's go into that mode now. That is the slow speed mode, and that should show us, we should be able to do some stuff here. My watch always thinks I'm talking to it when I'm not. The thing with an Apple Watch is every time you turn it towards you, it thinks you're talking to it. So I know there's a way to turn that off. I probably should just turn it off. Okay, let's get in here. Let's drop the camera down. And let's see if we can get in here close. And I'm going to see if I can do one of my favorite moves. Yeah, it's really, I can tell you, I wish you could adjust the yaw on this. Even in this slow mode, I keep overshooting, as you can see. I'm trying to center up on the sculpture, and it's tough. Got the camera pointed straight down. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go down. We're going to get close, down close to the top of the sculpture here. That's probably as good as I dare get. And so I'm going to try and do one of my moves where I move the drone up and circle or do a spin or a yaw and lift the camera up for a reveal. So doing that on the left stick, pushing it up and to the left. Yeah, this is working pretty good. And as we do that, I'm going to see if I can slowly pick the camera up and give you a reveal of the park. Yeah, that's working pretty good. Yeah, that worked quite well. Yeah. So, okay, let's go down here and, well, there's some other things we can test. We're only at 49% battery, and we have been, I can tell you, had video active for a little over 11 minutes, so you get plenty of flight time on this guy. Boy, I'll tell you what, the yaw is really difficult. I wish there was a way to adjust that. It is, the yaw on this thing is just too quick. Really hard to control. So I'm going to drop the camera down, see if we can get down. And again, you know, if I was doing this, I think with one of my DJI minis, I wouldn't have a problem, but I'm kind of struggling here. Let's get down a little lower. I hesitate to get too low. This guy does not have any obstacle avoidance, but let's see if I can control that yaw good enough to do a manual orbit around this fountain. And we're getting it done. Yeah, we're getting it done. And there again, I can do pick up the camera and give you a reveal of the senior center and what's in front of us in the Boise front. Looking pretty good. Okay, we'll go back into normal mode here, and of course, now look at this. As we spun there, I saw that's as tilted of a horizon as I've seen, but it slowly brings it back, and that was in video mode. But let's go back into normal mode and move forward. And again, I want to remind you that that's what we're doing, is we're trying to challenge that horizon. And look, it tilted pretty good there. Let's go the other way, and that's a fast yaw, and look, it did tilt the other way. So you can still tilt it if you want to, but you know, as you can see, and there it's flat again. I was working pretty hard to induce that. Okay, I had to pause there for a second. A phone call came in and knocked off the screen recorder, but anyway, I got it all fixed up here, and I put my phone into airplane mode, which I should have done. You know, it's probably not a bad idea to do that before you fly, although it does affect your ability to see maps and so forth. You know, when you fly into a new area, it downloads the maps. So anyway, let's take a look at some, you know, some of the things that I typically fly over when I'm at the park here. There's a lot of people for a weekday, a fair amount of folks out at the park. Let's go look at the pickleball courts here. Yeah, we got some action over there. And we'll stay on the periphery here a little bit. See what's going on. Get a little bit closer. Drop that camera down. And let's see if I can do kind of a half an orbit around. And kind of keep it. Yeah, it's even in normal mode, it's moving pretty quickly sideways. I think I'd have been more successful had I put it in video mode, but yeah, some folks enjoying this. Pickleball has become so popular. It's wild. And then my favorite band shell over here. This gets a lot of use in the summertime. I don't see anybody there, so we can kind of get down and take a look. I'll make sure I've got my antenna pointed right at the drone. Boy, I tell you what, if I could change one thing on this thing, I'm going back into video mode, and that would be to slow down that yaw. Holy cow. But we can get down here. I'm going to watch our signal very carefully. Because as we get down lower, you know, you could be blocked by terrain. Plus there's trees down here too. Let's look straight down. Make sure we're not dropping right on top of a tree, right? Doesn't look like we are. And so this is another test. As we lift it back up, let's take a look at the horizon. Often, if you look, drop the camera 90 degrees and pick it back up, that can affect the horizon. But look, we're good. So yeah, that's good news. So I'm not going to fly underneath the tarps or the tents or whatever you want to call them. But anyway, that's the band shell right there. Just kind of giving you a little tour. So we're down to 26% battery. That's enough to go out here a ways, and then we'll do a return to home and see. Let's go. We're kind of facing the sun here, but let's move down Broadway here, and I'm kind of off to the side. See somebody walking down there. That's the statue of Julius Kleiner in the middle of that center of the park there. Let's pick that camera up a little bit. We'll go out over the other pond here, and then we'll hit return to home, and we'll see how close we get to the landing pad. And again, this drone doesn't pretend to have any there's no precision landing on it. So, but in my experience, it comes pretty close. Okay, here we are. We're faced the other way. Let's hit return to home. Let's do it on the controller. So I'm holding the button down. That is the right hand on the right-hand side. The pause return to home button, holding it down. And it took that command, and it says returning, and I see the drone turning around, coming back. We're at 21% battery. It's coming back to us at about 10 meters per second in normal mode. I'll drop the camera down as we come back. I kind of get used to that, the DJI's new augmented reality return to home, and I miss it when I fly another drone or an older DJI drone that doesn't have it. So there's our landing pad right there. You can see where I'm sitting at on this picnic table. God, I couldn't talk. So it's coming down. It's going to be out in the grass here a little bit. If it doesn't, gosh darn, I hate that dialog box that comes up. We'll hit pause and see if we can get it on the pad so that we don't. It's pretty close to the pad. I mean, look at that. It's pretty darn close. But they put the dialog box right in the middle of the screen. So as the drone gets down here now, we're going to pause. And I hit that pause, and I'm going to, well, heck, let's face it towards me. And I'll get it over the pad here. See if I can in normal mode. See if I can move it over just a, I mean, it's tough. These fine adjustments are tough. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, you could hear that too. Okay, that's probably about as close as I'm going to get it. I'm going to pick up the camera so you can see where I'm at here. And then I'm going to pull straight down on the stick. What are we at? We're at minus, let's set it to 0 degrees. And you can see that up at the top of the screen there. 0 degrees on the camera. We're going to pull straight down on the left stick, straight down, and see if we get on the pad there. And it looks like we did. Put it in landing mode, and boom. We're at the back end of the pad, so close enough. I want to remember to stop recording so we don't corrupt a file. Did that. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, the Potensic Atom. Hey, that was a successful flight. You know, there was a hint of gimbal tilt or horizon tilt in a few spots there, but not bad at all. Nothing to, I mean, you can find that in almost any drone at one point or another. So I thought that part of it was successful. So you saw me, I was working pretty hard to induce some tilt in that gimbal or in the horizon, and I had to work pretty hard to do it. So so this guy, they've definitely cured that. I think the camera quality is quite good. Now, is it as good as you're going to find on your DJI Mini 3 or Mini 4 Pro, etc.? Or I would, or even the Mini 2, I believe has better video quality than this does. But you know what? It's good. It's not bad. I think it looks pretty darn good, and I think is acceptable at this price point. So what does this drone bring to the table? So at $399, you could, well, let's step back a little bit. You can buy the single battery version of this drone, just a single battery. I quoted $399, that's the Fly More combo. $299 for just the regular combo with just the controller, one battery, and the drone, and without a case. That's $299. So let's talk apples to apples here. You could buy the Mini 2 SE for $339. That's the normal price for it. It's on sale from time to time around $300. The Mini 2 SE, I believe, has better video quality, even though it's only 2.7K as opposed to 4K on this drone. I just think it looks better. However, you know, again, that's subjective, so you may have a different opinion. But what this guy really brings to the table is it is a full-featured drone. It has a number of intelligent flight modes, plus it includes things like waypoints and tracking, and I know those are important to a lot of people. It's a sub 250 drone, so you don't have to worry about registering it. If you're a hobbyist, you just go on and get your, you take the trust test, etc. I would encourage you to do that. But other than that, you don't even have to put a number on this drone if you don't want to. So yeah, that's what it brings to the table, and I think the video quality is good enough. It's acceptable. I like the colors on it. I think the gimbal, there's good gimbal control. You don't see any jello or a lot of shakes or anything. I think it looks really good, or very good. So I guess that's, yeah, well now I want to mention a couple more things. Now, you're probably naturally gonna, this is kind of in the price point of like the Fimi X8 Mini. I'll tell you, this thing is way more trouble-free than that drone, at least the one that I got. I bought a Fimi X8 Mini. I've had the version 1 and the version 2. I can say the video quality on this is definitely better than the version 1. The version 2 of the Fimi Mini, when the video is working correctly, it looks pretty good, but I've had a number of issues with the video camera on that drone and some other issues with the drone itself. So I would take this Potensic Atom over that Fimi Mini, I believe. That's just my humble opinion, you know, so take that for what it's worth. And then also another favorite is the Hubsan Xeno Mini SE. I know a lot of people like that drone, and it's a similar price range. Again, I've had a number of connection issues and so forth with that particular drone, so I would take this Potensic Atom. This is the one that I would probably choose over either of those. So anyway, it all depends on what you want out of a drone. Use case is a big deal. So if you really want a lot of features and so forth on your mini drone, this Potensic Atom is a good choice. If you're looking into video quality, I would push you towards the DJI Mini 2 SE or the Mini 2. You can still get it as a refurb, if not new some places, or even the DJI Mini 3, not the Mini 3 Pro, but the plain Mini 3 has a phenomenal camera on it. Now it's $469, so it's significantly more expensive than this guy. But if you're after that video quality, that's the direction you want to go. Anyway, you've probably heard enough of my jibber jabber, so that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Man, it was just a beautiful day to fly today. The little Potensic Atom. I'm liking this little drone.